So guys, today back for another video on the channel. Today we're here for the Newcastle United versus Norwich City preview. It's a massive game, it's a must-win game for Newcastle United. In this video we'll go for the general preview, and this preview is uploaded a little bit later because I had a sneaky feeling that the news about Danny Rose was going to get released, and it did around 6 o'clock-ish, so that's been announced, and basically everyone comes after the Danny Rose video, so I know a little bit more about him since doing that video. So obviously we'll do a normal preview, we'll look at Norwich first, we'll look at Newcastle, and then off the video there. So make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into the video now. So we will start off with our opponents, Norwich City, in this game. Obviously last time we played them it was a horrible game. It was their first home game in the Premier League this season, and they did get a fantastic 3-1 win over us with a Pukki hat-trick. It wasn't a great game. And then they beat Manchester City, and the first game of the season they played very well against Liverpool, and you think Norwich will stay up surely, but it's dipped from there. It really has. They got 1 win in 14, I think it was. They've hit some decent form recently, especially being bottom of the league, but they're in the relegation zone by quite a little bit now, so they've got to really pick up some points, and it will be tough. Obviously we all know, I love Norwich because last time Norwich came to St James's Park, you all know what happened. The Squeaky Binks back 4 years ago. That's a mad one, that, like, but the scenes in that one, right, and I get memed for it. I know it's funny as fuck, but fantastic, like. But that's the last time they came to St James's Park. We won 4-3 and scored 2 goals in the 94th minute. Unreal, man, unreal. Check out that vlog, I button, I think it's that side, could look like a dick, could be that side. Anyways, Norwich City, we'll look at their last 6 games now. So they got a 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace at home, and then they beat Preston North End 4-2 in the FA Cup. Then they got beat to Manchester United 4-0 in a disappointing game, and they bounced back, and that's what was the best thing about it. They bounced back against a team that was sitting 19th in the league, Bournemouth, with a bizarre penalty. Steve Cook made a fantastic save, but they won it on the penalty. They got the 3 points. And then had a decentish performance against Spurs, only losing 2-1. And then they did beat Burnley in the FA Cup in the 4th round, so they're still in the running for the FA Cup. I'm not quite sure who they did get in the next round, but it is some decent form there, you've got to say. I know 2 of them games are FA Cup games, but 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses, and the 2 losses are against Manchester United and Spurs. I think the fans and the players will all want to get behind Daniel Farke, because he's done fantastic stuff in the Championship, and you also have that connection with a manager or a captain or something like that, where they have a fantastic season. Like with Rafa Benitez back in the 17-18 season, with the money we spent and getting 10th in the Premier League, that's when it started from there, and we loved Rafa Benitez from there on. Obviously we loved him beforehand, but you always have that click with a player and a manager when something like that happens. Eddie Howe's got them up from the Premier League. I bet you a Bournemouth fan couldn't say a bad word about him, but when you've got, like, with Steve Bruce, he's had a decent-ish season so far. Not really that many fans will absolutely credit Bruce, but Norwich obviously Timo Pukki, as I mentioned. He's obviously a dangerous player. They play in a 4-2-3-1 formation, so I can expect them to play on the counter a little bit. Have they signed? I'm not quite sure if they've signed anyone yet. I don't think they have, off the top of my head. Anyways, lads, that's Norwich City. We'll look at Newcastle United now. So Newcastle United, obviously our result on Saturday wasn't good enough, but we've just got to forget about that and move on. And it looks like Premier League debuts could be coming in. We'll speak about the first signing, Nabil Bentaleb. Obviously he made his debut against Oxford, and I thought he's one of our better players. I think you've got to start him. With Shelby now being out for 5 weeks, you do start Nabil Bentaleb. Lazaro in right wing back, I think you do start him as well. I think he brings that bit of quality going forward, and this is the best time to play debut players. Bottom of the league, it gives them a bit of confidence thinking we're playing bottom of the league. I need to shine here, because if they have a bad game against Norwich City, who are they going to have a good game against? You've got to think a little bit like that. And obviously Danny Rose, I don't think Danny Rose will start because obviously only one training session, which will be tomorrow. I cannot see him starting. Definitely on the bench though, but I cannot see him starting. But maybe for Oxford on Tuesday night, away from home, which will be broadcast on BBC. So everyone going, oh, Binksy, what's your stream? It's on BBC, lads. So you can watch it on the bloody telly rather than a computer. But going into the game, obviously with injuries and whatnot, Yoshinori Muto is back in training, which is great. We didn't have a substitute, an attacking substitute on last Saturday against Oxford, so we do need that player who you can bring on. Chris Inatsu, not for me. Get him out the team. Awful. Newcastle United versus Norwich City prediction. Obviously Newcastle United fit in good form. Obviously we haven't lost since... When was the last time we lost a game? We haven't lost a game in bloody ages. Last time we lost a game was Leicester. Yes, last time we lost a game was Leicester. It's been so long back. I think about that one. Obviously, drew to Rochdale, and then drew to Wolves, and then... What was it? I kind of think. Beat Chelsea, then beat Rochdale. Anyways, we haven't lost in a long time, so no Newcastle will get beat. Anyways, my prediction for the game, I'm going to go with a 2-0 Newcastle, keep the clean sheet. 2-0 Newcastle, goal scorers, Nabil Bentaleb and Joe Linton. Lads, that's the end of the preview. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Anyways, lads, and fantastic Danny Rose signing. And if you didn't go watch that video already, I button or description, or just go to the channel. Anyways, lads, see you off for the predicted team out tomorrow, and then we've got the game on Saturday. Lads, it's been a pleasure. See you all in the next one.